Building your base is one of the most enjoyable features in Subnautica 2, and in this video I'll be showing you the top 5 best locations to set up your base to make sure that you get the most out of this game. Now this is in the early access, so I will be doing an updated video as more options and locations get added to the game later on. And one of the very first bases should be somewhat close to the life pod here. Now the life pod does have a fabricator, a basic one, but you don't want to go like too far away because you'll be jumping around here until you're able to craft yourself a Noah. So there's a couple locations right at the start here that I think work very well. So right directly across from the life pod, you can set up a base right here. What makes this base so nice is that there's a giant jet stream right here, so you have a source of power. You do have to find this here early on, but solar panels are not the most reliable. Even with the power storage, they still will be a little bit difficult to deal with. Now this base is only 50 meters away from our life pod, so it is obviously relatively close to like the start of the game and the life pod there, which is nice for certain reasons, but I don't love this build, this location, so I'm going to put this one at the first here, but there's a few different criteria we use to actually determine what makes a good base. This has good access to resources. It has a jet stream here. While the jet stream isn't as useful as another one, it is relatively close to the start of the game, and you will be traveling this way a lot, so it is in a good location. Again, for resources, power, but it's just not far enough away from the life pod. So what I think to be one of the actual best location for an early game base is coming from the life pod and traveling northeast here, like the 30 mark to about 150 meters away. I've set up a variety of different bases and just tried them out to see what works best. I think this location here, right in front of the Angel Comb, works really well because in the early hours of the game, we're going to be traveling the northern section of the map quite frequently. So having this here gives you a bit of like distance from the life pods. It's roughly around 170 meters here. And what's nice about this location is that it does have a way to generate power. There is a current right here, and what makes this so great is that the current will let you flow through it and give you power, but you can also move through the currents as well. But this location does have some downsides to it. Despite its great location, there are some aggressive fish here. Now there will be future updates to this game where they will be ending up or making them a little bit less aggressive and their range a little bit better. There are 2 hammerheads that just stick right outside there and they're constantly bashing each other, which can be kind of funny, but if you find that to be annoying, this may not be the best location for you. I just think that if you put your life pod over on that section or your tadpole raft on that section, you won't have to deal with some of the aggression of the fish as they typically end up on the other side of the coral here. Now I built this as a multi-level base, but that's not really necessary. Right now ladders are a little bit annoying to build with, but what I liked about this setup here is that you have multiple entrances, and again, you have this current right here. So what's nice about that is if you're going and exploring over this section here, like grabbing lead or anything like that, you got this current to return back from. So again, we're going to be traveling over to this section quite a bit in the early game. You can go do your stuff, gather your resources, and then you have an express ticket all the way home that is also generating power for your base. So I like this as an early on base just because of the current, the resources in this area are nice. There's actually a lot of resources in that northern section there that you just have a harder time getting to if you set your base up over on like the southern side of the map. Now it is a little bit far from your life pod there, and again, there is some aggressive fish in this area, but I think that the cons outweigh the pros outweigh the cons in this situation, as you'll likely set up a Noah at some point early on. So even if you are running back to the life pod, it's not too far away to travel, and yeah, you're close to a lot of resources, which is important. I have experimented with bases in other sections, but if we travel even further to the east, around 500 meters, like 585 to be exact, this is eastern, roughly between the E and the 120 marks, around 105-ish there for 585 meters away. Now this base setup I really like. It's on the edge right by the collector Leviathan, so you're in an area where you will have to travel back and forth. Now typically you only need to set up 2 bases currently in the early access. I'd like to have that one over there right close to the life pod, and then one on the other section of the deep end here. But if you want to set up a third one, this is a great location because you got heat for energy, but not only that, you also have a current here for energy, and this current actually takes you in a really nice location where you need to go for the story. So it's great. Again, you have an express way to get out. It takes you down to a section that you'll be going to often. There's a lot of resources down here, but the only downside is you have this this neighbor here that you don't really enjoy. So there are obviously, like, it's nice to have it close there, because if you end up running away from it, you can just literally run back to your safety net here. And the nice thing about getting into this warm zone is that the collector Leviathan will not make its way up here, so you're safe once you get back to this section here, giving it kind of a nice feeling of safety here. But again, the big things are, it's got 2 different ways to generate power, or 3 I guess if you got solar panels, but we got the heat generator, we got the current generator, and there's a lot of things like gold and sulfur in this area, so it's great for the resources. Overall, I really liked having a base here. It's one that I ended up visiting quite a bit throughout my time, just because there's a lot of resources that we do need in this section as well, but it's not necessary fully, like typically if you're playing through this game. The amount of resources you'll get, it's 1 to 2, I guess 2 bases total you'll end up doing. But I did enjoy this base. Again, multiple resources and multiple ways to generate power. It's close to everything you need. It's far enough away from the life pod that it is a bit of a travel if you need to make your way back that section. But honestly, I like this area. You can throw up a bunch of different resources onto your tadpole, and you can actually craft some of the, you can craft these utility portable lockers, throw those on the back of your tadpole. So if you want to take a bunch of resources from your other base and set up one here, you'll probably enjoy it quite a bit. I like this area, but again, it's not for everyone. And from this section that's 585 meters east of our life pod, I tried out a few others in this other region, but I actually like to come over here around 200 meters to like the southeast section. There's another base location here that you can generate power from the heat here. You also have this jelly ring that's jorking that. It's kind of funny to watch. It's a pretty solid location. You got the deep end there. There's a lot of resources in this area as well. This is a nice location to set up a secondary base if you didn't like that other section, but again, a secondary base is not fully necessary. This would be a location you'd want to come to a bit later because you do need the heat adaptation to be able to do this, but most people by the time they make it over to the section, they would already have that. It is close to the tadpole pens as well. Both of these base locations are. They're 200 meters apart, but good resource availability. This one does have like this tricky section here. There's no hostile fish in this region either. That's the one nice thing about the heat zone, is that you don't have to deal with anything really annoying in this area. There's lots of gold and sulfur, which are a bit more rare, and you do have easy access to the deep sections here where there's even further resources. So across the board, I think that these are 4 solid locations in the very start of the game, but the absolute best location, because of what you're going to be doing later on, is going to be roughly between, like, if we're coming from the life pod, the best base location is about 1200 meters to the east section, and from there it's about east between the E and the 105 that you'll be traveling to. And basically you can take the underground water route, or you can hop at the top of the water there till you make it to this alien tower, which sticks out of the ground so you know you're in the right area. And then we're going to be traveling northeast from here. So again, you're traveling to between the E and the 105 if you're coming from the life pod for about 1200 meters. There's a stream here, which is perfect. There's also the alien research outpost here, which you're going to be coming to for part of the story, which makes this an ideal base location. It kind of suggests you to set up a base here. And this, I think, to be the best base location because a few things are checked off. You do have the stream right here, so you can generate more than enough power in this area because the stream is huge, and there's another stream here. So that's nice. There is other sections in this area that do have heat, which I've experimented with setting up a base, but this one just has the best ease of access. You can set up a tadpole launch bay at the top or at the bottom. And one of the nice things about this is, again, there is so much resources here, like a ton of titanium. Pretty much anything you need to set up a base is going to be in this area, so it does feel like it heavily incentivizes you to set up a base here. You can set up bases further into the east. I found that to be fun, but I honestly didn't really find myself going to those bases as much as I found myself just returning back to this one here. So this has great resource availability, great power generation too, because there's a couple streams in this area, which is also nice because the streams also mean that you can just travel through the map easily. You don't even have to move, you can just stand in them. They take you to some important locations in the game too, which is really nice. So you have like a quick highway to get out of here, good resources, and best of all, there's no aggressive fish in this area, so you don't have to worry about anything related to that, which is amazing. And I'll give an honorable mention here. So from that base there, if we travel to the south, roughly the 300 meters away that you see here, there is a base location that I like right here. So what's nice about this is there is a stream right here, so we can generate power easily. On top of that, there's also another stream right over here that you can generate power, so you got the 2 streams. But my favorite part about this is that you have a great view of our neighbor, the Collector Leviathan. So what's cool is you can actually kind of like rage bait it by getting it to come after you here, getting it to glow, and then you got this beautiful view that you can just watch it from. So yeah, this is actually a location I like a lot. It doesn't have as many resources, that's why it's only an honorable mention, and you do have to deal with getting the Collector Leviathan to deal with this. It is an okay location. I like it because it kind of notifies you when you're out of the danger zone away from that Collector Leviathan. So yeah, it's a pretty solid location. I'd recommend setting up some necrolyzed cysts here too, because these are not available in this section of the area. So setting up the grow beds, which are actually located at the last base, is ideal to do. And if you travel a bit more northwest, I did set up a base here. This is more so just for watching the Collector Leviathan. This location is not good in general. I had to use solar panels there, but it's a funny one because you hit him right there, so you can obviously just escape back. I'm not going to recommend this one, but I really like the Collector Leviathan. He's scary, and it's fun to actually have like some fear being in the base. So yeah, this is not one that I would fully recommend, but if you want to just, you know, set up a base for the fun of it, because you can't really do anything about him, you can just rage bait him and then go into your base and he'll just bugger off. He doesn't like the noise of the tadpole, but again, this is just an honorable mention for the aspect of fun. Since there's no Netflix in this world, this is the best that we got. But be sure to dock your tadpole there, because he will get angry and he'll just whack it there. And it's funny, he will actually travel to places he's not normally going to go to because of that. So yeah, setting up your tadpole here in its base is probably the most ideal route to go to, just so that he doesn't get annoyed by the motors in it. So that is even with the upgrade that lowers the amount of noise that it makes. But yeah, this is more so just for fun. Even better with the adaptation that makes you turn invisible when you stop moving, so that he just is constantly looking for you. It's really funny. But yeah, that is on the edge where he will still aggro. There are a few things like copper here, but yeah, that's more so just for fun. I like that other base right there for being like a little bit better, but the absolute best one, as mentioned, is just over here. So yeah, the Alien Ruins base is on top in my opinion, absolute best, but let me know your thoughts on the best base locations in Subnautica 2. I played through the entire game already, and this is just my experience, so I'm always curious to hear yours. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch y'all in the next video.